Guys, our friends at Magic Spoon have done it again. They've transformed their delicious, healthy cereal into a crunchy, on-the-go snack with similar nutritional value to a protein bar. Just way more fun and enjoyable. There's cookies and cream and cocoa plus peanut butter. Each bar has 10 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and only 4 grams of net carbs. Magic Spoon cereal bars are available now at magicspoon.com/Chael, but supply is limited. There's a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you're not happy for any reason, Magic Spoon will refund your money, no questions asked. Just click on the link below and use code Chael for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/Chael to try out their delicious new cereal bars while supplies last. Don't forget to stock up on their cereal boxes while you're there. For my Canadian and British fans, Magic Spoon is now shipping to Canada and the UK. All right, guys, stories just coming in. I'm going to get you 99% of the way there. And don't think that you need to leave me corrections down below. This is a he said, she said, secondhand account, but it goes something like this. Fights going on in London this weekend. Paddy the Baddy's on the card. The UFC has a room set up. You go to that room to do all of your checking in. Everything from getting on a scale and just kind of showing what your check weight is, to there's some posters that you will sign, whatever paperwork, anything overlooked by a commission. You kind of go right down a line. It's going to take you about 45 minutes. Everybody has to do it. It's called processing. So Paddy goes to the processing room, being part of this card. He sees somebody who he has heat with. Ryan, tell me the name again. Guy happens to be 11-0. Pretty tough guy. He's in the room with his team. He's got 6 guys with him. Paddy is in the room by himself. So the story goes, Paddy and this guy had some kind of a back and forth. They had some kind of heat. When Paddy sees him, Paddy picks up a hand sanitizer bottle and hurls it at the guy. He hits him right in the head. Now, it's the guy plus 6, and it's Paddy there by himself. The guy's team turned out to be solid guys, which did not turn it into a 6 or 7-on-1 against Paddy. They actually held their guy back and said, leave that guy alone. Either way, they have both gone to social media to claim victory. Paddy in the sense of it was 6 against 1, I stood my ground and none of you did anything. Okay, sounds accurate. The other guy saying, you're lucky my team was there, I would have torn your head off. Also sounds accurate. Now, what do? Did these two just lock down a fight with one another for the future? Or did these two just make that fight unbookable? It's a very important point that you understand this. We cannot have tomfoolery happening outside the octagon. It cannot happen. You cannot be in dust-ups in the street. You cannot be in the hallways, in the hotels, in the processing room. Can't happen. Very bad look, not to mention it's illegal. So a lot of guys will try to do this for promotion, but let me just give you an example, which was George Masvidal, Leon Edwards. I admit for you guys, it is compelling to see two fighters fighting not in the cage. Compelling is not meant to be a positive word. That's just a word assigned per definition to what that is. You want to watch it, and you do watch it, and you rewatch it, and there's something there, and there's something special, and it's organic, and it's real. It's all the things that you need for masterful marketing, but George Masvidal and Leon Edwards never fought. And the incident of 3-piece and a soda is going on 3 years ago. The reason that they did not fight, it's very important that you understand this. If the UFC would have taken that footage and gone and made that fight, they would have a massive fight on their hands. Anything at that time that George Masvidal had done would have been small in comparison. And the same goes for Leon. Anything that Leon had done up till that moment would be small in comparison. Why didn't the UFC make it? Well, they didn't want to start that. They did not want to encourage anybody to behave like a buffoon as long as you're in shot of a camera, or to have your friend pull out an iPhone while you go. They just didn't want to encourage that. They stopped it dead by having this fight that everybody did want to see with two guys within the same division with an altercation that was a little bit more explainable than the crime type that I spoke about. So we're not going to do it. It was a very mature and a very responsible and probably a fairly hard decision for the UFC to come to, but they came to the right one. And as time goes on, you could get those two back in there. The stories have changed and their paths could cross and you could have that moment, but that's very different than using that moment as your jumping off point and moving forward. It's very different if you operate in reverse. And a lot of this came from Conor and Khabib. When Conor broke into the Barclays Center and took the hand truck and attacked the bus, when he had this whole thing with Khabib, then him and Khabib get in there and it ends up being the biggest pay-per-view that mixed martial arts has ever done. You could see where lights are going to go on in some fighter's head. Oh, this is all I need to do. I need to behave like a fool, and even if it means handcuffs, there'll be something to the greater good down the road, which is wrong. And the organization is letting you know that it's wrong. So if any of you did find it compelling or you found it entertaining, or if I just taught you something new and now you really want to see Paddy the Baddy take on this gentleman, 11-0 Swedish wrestler, Greco-Roman wrestler rather, if you want to see that, I'm not sure that you aren't all but guaranteed that's the fight you're not going to see. Only time is going to tell. That's the story for now, and I'm very, very accurate. I told you I'd get you 99% there. I did. What happens next between these two? How can you be trusted in the future? You know, you have your heat and you have your back and forth, but you got to follow a code, which is we're also civil. We see each other, we pass by. We wait till the agreed upon time, which is in the octagon. If all of your actions and your social media and the throwing of the bottle doesn't get you to the octagon, then something within your formula you did wrong, and we just go through life separate ways. That's the deal and that's the code. But when you get somebody that picks up a foreign object and breaks the code, thinking that somehow it's okay and they've got the moral superior hand because they were outnumbered 6-1, you end up in a bit of a mess. What do you do with that guy? Or is that just the guy that Paddy's going to be moving forward? He's just going to be antagonizing. And he's going to be, I don't know. It's not a great look. Paddy has been welcomed into this community with very open arms. You, the fans, have been very supportive. The UFC booking him in only his second or third outing, and they're taking him to his own country. I mean, there's a lot going on to this. To be able to trust that a guy can behave while processing in the offices of their employer, what do you do?